Hello everybody, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Educating Adventures. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you share with me that some of your favorite activities involve being out in nature. I love to just take a walk through a park, down a beach, anywhere that there might be some exciting nature around. However, it's not uncommon on some of my nature walks to find garbage along the way. Something like a bottle cap or a plastic bag. And garbage in nature is an example of pollution, and it's certainly not the only example. Today, we're going to be exploring the different types of pollution, how they happen, and what we can do to help. Pollution is the fancy science word we use for any type of non-natural, harmful substances that enter a natural environment. There are many different types of pollution, but today we're going to focus on three: plastic pollution, chemical pollution, and air pollution. We're going to start with plastic pollution. Plastic is a non-natural substance that is particularly harmful because it never actually breaks down. Over time, large pieces of plastic simply break apart into smaller pieces of plastic that we call microplastics, and those can sometimes even be more harmful than the bigger pieces of plastic. There is so much plastic pollution on our planet that we have found plastic in places that humans have never even been to, like in the deepest parts of the ocean. Plastic pollution comes from many different places, things like fishing gear, but most plastic pollution comes from things that we use in our day-to-day lives, like plastic bottles or bags or even food wrappers. And plastic pollution can happen both on land and in water, and it's a big problem for many reasons. One reason it's a big problem is because many animals may accidentally eat it, which can make it hard for them to swallow, choke them, or possibly make them sick if they eat too much of it. Something like a bird might eat a little piece of plastic thinking it's a seed. Something like a sea turtle might eat a plastic bag thinking that it's a jellyfish. And some of our really large filter feeders like whale sharks, they might consume those tiny microplastics as they're filter feeding, which is not going to be good for them in the long run. In addition to animals eating plastic pollution, they may also get tangled in some of the larger pieces. Think about that fishing gear we mentioned before, all those nets and lines. If those are just floating around in the ocean, it wouldn't be hard for something like a dolphin or a shark to accidentally get tangled up in them. Let's jump over to chemical pollution. Chemical pollution occurs anytime a non-natural chemical enters the environment. Chemical pollution is a really big problem, particularly around farms, because farms use things like fertilizer, which is a chemical that helps plants to grow, and it uses things like pesticides, which are chemicals used to kill bugs and other pests that might be feeding on the crops. During big storms, lots of these chemicals run off of the farms and enter local waterways. These waterways then become polluted. Chemical pollution also happens a lot from cars and ships that are dripping oils or other chemicals into the road or water. Of course, a big oil spill is going to be another good example of chemical pollution. Just like plastic pollution is a problem for many reasons, so is chemical pollution. Let's start with that fertilizer we mentioned before. When fertilizer runs off into waterways, fertilizer helps plants grow, so native plants, including algae, also start to grow really fast. Too much algae in an ecosystem makes it hard for animals to survive, so that's a problem. The pesticides, which are designed to kill small animals, entering the waterway is also a big problem. That affects native fish and crustaceans and any other animals that might be living in that water. And of course, the oil spills are a big problem as well because that oil can coat an animal's feathers or fur, make it really hard for them to move around or breathe in that water. Our last type of pollution to discuss is air pollution. Air pollution occurs when harmful gases, called greenhouse gases, enter the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases are things like carbon dioxide and methane, and they typically enter the atmosphere for one of two major reasons. The first one being when we burn fossil fuels to create energy, this creates lots of greenhouse gases. This energy that we create is typically used to do things like turn on our lights and our TVs and all the other things that require energy in our day-to-day lives. In addition to that, livestock, so things like cows and pigs, things that we use to produce milk or get meat, they create lots of greenhouse gases as well, primarily from their burps. Now, greenhouse gases and air pollution are a big problem for lots of reasons, but the biggest, most important problem that they present is that these greenhouse gases trap heat near the Earth's surface and they change the global climate. Every ecosystem in the whole world is impacted by this climate change caused by greenhouse gases. To learn more about how greenhouse gases affect our planet, please visit our greenhouse gas adventure. Now, I know all of this pollution can seem really gloom and doom, like what are we supposed to do about all these different types of pollution all around our world? Well, there are things that you can do every single day to help reduce or stop pollution. One of those things is use less plastic. We will produce less plastic waste if we stop buying plastic. So look for paper options instead. And if you have to buy plastic, see if you can recycle it. Another fairly simple way that we can stop pollution, particularly chemical pollution, is by buying organic food. Because organic food is grown without fertilizers and without pesticides, which means we're reducing the amount of chemicals that can run off into the environment. And another very simple way that we can stop pollution, particularly air pollution, is by using less energy. Turning off our lights and our TVs when we're not using them. The less energy we use, the less fossil fuels we have to burn, which means the less greenhouse gases we create. All right, you guys, I hope that you are feeling like pollution experts. I hope you are ready to get out there and tackle these pollution problems that our environment faces. If you'd like to learn even more and test your knowledge about pollution, be sure to click that link below to visit our website to see quizzes, activities, projects, and so much more. And we can't wait to see you at our next adventure. Bye!